Nature versus nurture. I never learned more about sociology than when I was coaching PE at a school. And you just get so much opportunity to watch kids and how they socially develop. And it's the most simple way to read it because kids, they don't have their guards up. You know what I mean? They're just transparent with how it goes down. And when you watch cliques of kids on campus in these different groups, right? You always have the little guy who's loud, big personality, look at me. And then you usually got a big kid and he's a lot more reserved, right? And this is the nurture, the environment. The small kid wants to be sure that he's heard and get the attention that he feels he deserves, where a big kid, he's just trying to fit in. He doesn't want any more attention than he's already getting for being big, right? Well, KD, I imagine, was probably 6'4", 6'5" in middle school, right? The original unicorn. So I think that that's built into his personality, being the big kid trying to fit in. Now, Stephen A. Smith was running his mouth the other day, like he always does, talking about the Suns. And the reason he gave that they weren't a true contender is, well, Kevin Durant's not a leader. He's not a leader, right? And KD had enough. KD finally clapped back at Stephen A. Quote, "Yeah, Stephen A., I don't understand how people even listen to Stephen A. I've been in the league for 18 years. I've never seen Stephen A. at a practice, a film session, or shoot around. I've never seen him anywhere but on TV talking about players. He's a clown to me. He's always been a clown. You can write that too. I would disagree. I would argue passionately that my intangibles have always been on par with my talent." And Stephen A., look, he just talks to talk, right? The ultimate hot take artist. So who cares what Stephen A. really says, right? But the reality is the narrative of Kevin Durant not being a leader has been going on for a decade, more than a decade probably. And there's various reasons why. I think initially, the first reason would be he tends to yield to the other star players on his team. You can go back to that OKC team, obviously Golden State, it was a balancing act as always, but that's how it kind of started. Like, hey, isn't this supposed to be KD's the unicorn? He's the guy. KD got to be the guy. And he had always been a little more yielding to the other stars on his team than people had liked. I never read into that as KD saying, oh, they're the true superstar. Like I'm Robin and they're Batman. I don't think it was that. I think it was KD's nurture, his nature to try to fit in, right? It was almost like, no, I don't like it. It ain't got to be about me. Like I'm a good teammate and trying to be a good teammate and getting lost in that. It was like, oh, KD's the number two. He's the number two, right? But then you combine that with how he's moved around the league, how he got his chip, and boom, Kevin Durant is not a leader. Now, KD is one of my top 5 favorite players of all time. I love me some KD. I do. He's not a leader. He's not a leader. But that's all right. There's always give and take because that's the same reason why he has been the most dynamic mercenary maybe the league has ever seen. Meaning he can play on any team at any moment with any stars and fit right in and help them win. You could argue that's even more valuable depending on the team he goes to, right? If he was that leader that everybody wanted him to be, I don't think those fits would be so seamless. He wouldn't be who he is and why we love him. The one issue that I will take with KD as far as his leadership, we know he's first one in, last one out, lead by example, being a pro, the work ethic, fine. He has done this thing where when there is an issue with his team, he tries to put it on the coach too much. And, deflecting to reporters. He'll be like, well, that's the coach's job. He goes, I play, the coach coaches. I know he doesn't want to send any type of, he wants to leave that all to the coaches, right? And that sounds well and good when you're in high school, dog. College, maybe, right? But KD, I know, we know, this is a players' league. You've got far more say and control than 99% of the coaches you've ever played for, right? And so whether he's just avoiding having to do it or he maybe doesn't grasp the fact that the message would mean so much more coming from him a lot of the time, right? If you take Frank Vogel in that situation last year and, he was kind of salty on the side. He was doing what the coach wanted, but he didn't want to do what the coach wanted, right? And so sometimes you've got to speak up more as well as understand you sending the message to the young players on your team or the rest of the organization, it's going to mean more than waiting for the coach to say what you want him to say. Now, that said, Bud in Phoenix, back home, the Suns. Here's the thing. He doesn't have to be the leader for the Suns. Devin Booker is the leader for the Suns. So as long as Kevin Durant and Booker are on the same page and that communication is good, he doesn't have to be the leader. I don't think that that would be the reason why the Suns don't come out of the West this year. But yeah, that's my take on it with KD. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about how do you view KD long term? That's probably a loaded question. Maybe a better one is, what do you think of this current Suns roster? They got the Dunn kid out there guarding up, point of attack, shooting threes. Tyus Jones at the point spot. It just comes down to durability. I don't think it's going to be a chemistry issue. I'd be nervous about the center position a little bit, depending on the matchup. But it ain't going to be because KD is not a leader. Just let KD be the unicorn that KD is. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.